Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pi for those that don't know. And if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be reviewing Love is Blind Season 6. This is the reunion special. So before we get started, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a video, you will be notified, so you'll be the first one to find out. The beginning of the reunion starts off with Vanessa and Nick, and they're in the pods. They're acting like they're in the experiment, and I'm thinking immediately, like, this is so corny. If this is any indication of how the reunion is going to go, this is going to be an epic fail. So then they leave out of the pods, and they're going down the hallway, and they're looking into, the different pods, and who do we see? We see all the cast, but we see some of the old cast too. They open up the door and Brennan and Alexa are kissing on the couch. Then we see Brett and Tiffany is helping Brett with his pants. And if y'all remember Brett had some issues with his pants on his wedding day. So now we see Vanessa say, I just cannot wait. I have been wanting to do this for so long. And immediately I'm like, they're about to open up the doors for them. I just know it. So when they open up the doors again, I'm thinking like, this is so freaking corny. But I did like the fact that the episode was shot at Love is Blind, like at the pods. And so when they opened up the doors, they both came out on both sides onto the set, which I thought was pretty cool. And there was a live audience, which I thought that was a good idea. And you have all of your old cast there. So the season 6 cast all come out. Everybody looks really good. I think we can pretty much all agree that AD slayed this reunion. Baby was looking good. I like Brittany's look. She was pretty. Who else? Amy looked nice as well. Like I said, everybody looked really good, but AD was absolutely my favorite. Oh yeah. Jeremy with that white and that Hawaiian shirt. It was definitely given Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahamas. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego. Baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? He wanted to go down to Kokomo. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. But I didn't like it though. The song I love, but the outfit, no, I did not like the outfit. But everybody else looked really, really nice. I wasn't feeling Jeremy's outfit. And it has nothing to do with the fact that we all know who, he's not our favorite, right? The outfit was just bad. But anyways, so now we get to check in with the only couple that was married this season, which is Johnny and Amy. And they basically talk about, how life has been since they've gotten married. And we get to see pictures and like videos and everything about them. The crazy part about them is they're the only couple that got married this season, and like I swear they have like the smallest amount of screen time. It's crazy because they're just like, you guys are doing good and you guys are in love. We're so happy you got married. The experiment works. Okay, boom, moving on to the next. Like, it was so funny. They just, they talked about how their families like blend well together and they traveled all around the world. And like, that was pretty much it. And it was like, next. So after they wrap up Johnny and Amy's package, now they show a montage of the last 6 years, the 6 seasons of Love is Blind. And we get to see everybody's love story from Cameron and Lauren to Milton and Lydia, to Colleen and Matt, and Brett and Tiffany. We get to see all of the couples, Chelsea and Kwame, Brennan and Alexa, just everyone that got married, even people that didn't get married. We got to see, I saw Deepti. Like, the montage was really nice, right? And so afterwards we see that the Love is Blind OGs are in the audience. And we have Gigi with her boyfriend, who is not from Love is Blind. They're sitting right in the front. And Gigi is very prego. And then we have Brett and Tiffany, Alexa and Brennan they're sitting in the back, and they're Prego as well. Chelsea and Kwame are there. Micah and Izzy are there as well. They're not a couple, but they're there. And I think that is it. If I miss somebody, y'all let me know. But I think that's it. One of the biggest bummers of this was we didn't get to see Cameron and Lauren, which is my absolute favorite couple. It just sucks that they weren't there. So I would have loved to see them. Get right into it, and they start with Jeremy. And Nick asked Jeremy, is he dating anybody these days? He was like, after the roller coaster with you and Laura's relationship, are you dating anybody? And he says, yes, I am. And of course, with no surprise, here comes Sarah Ann. Sarah Ann comes out with her glittery self. And I feel like we were on Jimmy and Sarah Ann for like 2 hours. No lie. So she says that they've been dating for a year. They're even living together. And they're like, okay, the Lachey's are like, but before we get all into that, let's go ahead and get Laura on the Zoom because she shared her location with us. And Laura is in Barcelona. So we're going to go ahead and Zoom Laura in to this conversation. So Laura comes up on the Zoom. She looks really pretty. She says that, she hates that she wasn't able to be there, but she's in Barcelona for work. But she's ready for all the drama. So Nick says to Jeremy, so we have one lady on the stage that you're living with, another lady on Zoom that you were engaged to, but then there's another lady on social media who says that you were engaged to her when you started the process of this show. And he's like, yeah, I want to go ahead and clear that up. So basically, like I just said, if you have been keeping up with the social media tea, you know that Jeremy has already cleared this up on social media. He basically said him and this young lady, and she has a child, but it's not his child. They were together, but they broke up like a couple of months before he got on, either applied to Love is Blind, or I feel like he said he was vetted to be on Love is Blind. So a recruiter reached out to him to be on Love is Blind. And like I said, a few months before he was on Love is Blind, that's when they broke up and sold their home because her mom was the one, the old fiance's mother was the person who put the tea out there in the beginning. But she was making it seem like they were still together. Jeremy says that they were broken up at least a couple of months. So if they were broken up, they were broken up. And he says that it was not no secret. Everybody on the cast knew. And they asked Laura, and she says, yes, he did tell me that. And Sarah Ann confirms as well. So I guess maybe his story is true. But Vanessa want to know why in the world did you share your location with Laura if you knew you weren't going to be at the location? Or is it that you didn't realize or remember, maybe you were drinking too much and you forgot that your Apple Watch was going to keep updating the location? And so Jeremy goes into this whole spiel on how he shared his location before he left the house, and he went to Lost and Found. Of course, he didn't know Sarah Ann was going to be there, but she was. They caught up. They were having such a great conversation, and nothing happened that night. So, like I didn't feel like there was no reason not to share the location. Vanessa said, baby, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, why did you share the location knowing dang on well that you wasn't at the location? And he was just like, when I came in, he said nothing happened. When I came in, I went straight to Laura and told her what happened. Laura was like, hold up, wait a minute. That is not what happened. Laura said, I was looking at your location, and when I saw that you got off on the highway, I came downstairs and sat in the living room and waited till you got out. And when I heard you pull in the driveway, and I heard your car pull up, I waited for you to come in. And you did not come upstairs and tell me. So they're going back and forth with whose story is right and whose story is wrong. And it's basically just a bunch of he said, she say, right? So then Sarah Ann decides to jump in. And because Laura had called him a clown. She was like, you're a liar, you're a clown. And Sarah Ann's like, don't be talking to my man like that. She didn't say that though. But what she did say was that Laura was the clown because she was the one who was talking crap about her in the pods to Jeremy, and she wants to call her a pick-me, but Laura, you're really a pick-me. And I'm like, Sarah Ann, do you know the definition of pick-me, baby? Because I'm pretty sure that's not the definition of pick me. The definition of pick me is someone who goes into somebody's inbox, someone's fiance's inbox, and says, if it doesn't work out, pick me. That's a pick me, and that, my dear, would be you. So Nick asked the cast, do y'all believe them or whatever? Chelsea's like, babe, I ain't never stayed up till 5 o'clock just talking. And Sarah Ann's trying to defend herself, and she's like, y'all know I can talk a lot. You saw how Matthew walked out on me? Girl, y'all were not talking. So Vanessa's like, okay, but just tell me this. Did y'all kiss? And she was like, no, I swear we did not kiss. So y'all literally sat up and talked till 5 o'clock in the morning and just talked. I don't. And you were drinking? Girl, miss me with the BS. So Vanessa asked Laura, when did she realize and start having doubts? And she was like, of course, I had my thoughts or whatever, but I really thought that me and this man were going to get married. Like, we would check in with each other every day. Where are you at? I'm 85%. Oh, I'm 90. Okay, cool. She was like, I think she said it never got below 75 or something like that. But she really thought that they were going to be together. And it was like she was blindsided by the whole thing. Because one day you're with me, and then the very next day you're with her. She talks about how he met her family and how her grandmother her 96-year-old grandmother had booked a flight and was getting ready to fly in for their wedding. Like, I've had you around the closest people to my family. Some of the closest people to me haven't even met my family. And I felt bad for Laura. I really did. So then we see some never before seen footage of Laura and Sarah Ann talking at the lake party that they had. And basically, Sarah Ann was just saying that, I had some things that I never got off my chest. Kind of basically what she was saying to Jeremy, what we actually did see on the show. She was saying, I had some things that I didn't say to you when we left the pods, and I should have said those things. And, I went back and forth with it. Should I say something? Should I not? And I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and just send this message. I'm not thinking that's going to cause any harm. And I'm also thinking, Laura, you're like a real woman. I'm thinking that it wasn't even going to faze you, basically. And she was like, but I didn't mean any malice or any, ill intent towards you. And Laura was actually very calm in this moment, but she told her, she was like, I do think it was very disrespectful or whatever. But, at the end of the day, his loyalty is to me. Like, he's the one that is supposed to be loyal to me. He's the one that proposed to me. But he's really shady. I don't trust him. I think he's not who he says he is. And just, girl, watch your back. That's basically what she told her. I wonder how she feels about the other information that has come out since they've been together for a year. So Chelsea also says that all he cares about is his image. That's all he's been talking about. But he said a little comment about, now I'm going to look worse than Jimmy. And then we see Jimmy in the little clip at the bottom of the screen. Was like, dang, how I get in it. When they pan the camera back over to Jimmy, he was like, dang, man, I'm just catching strays. And the Lachey's asked him, does he feel any type of way about that comment that Jeremy made? And Jimmy is like, that last day when I had to make that decision between Chelsea and Jess, I was really torn up. I didn't know what to do. And he was like, all the guys pick me up or whatever. And Jeremy made the comment and said, well, at least I'm not the villain like Jimmy, or at least I'm not as bad as Jimmy, something to that effect. But of course, Jeremy was like, well, I don't really remember saying that. I said that. And Jimmy was like, yes, you actually did say it. He was like, well, if I said that, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean that. He was like, you must have said it like you're freaking talking to your old lady. You're telling your fiance. Like, man, I apologize. I didn't mean anything by it. My apologies. Jimmy accepts his apology. They move on because Jimmy says he got bigger fish to fry. So they bring up how AD had some choice words for Sarah Ann. And AD was like, yeah, I had a couple. And she was like, they said, well, how do you feel about, seeing that apology just now? She was like, I kind of feel like it's null and void because you still did what you did. You still went after her fiance. And I just think that's effed up. So Vanessa talks about the relationship with the girls, and Sarah Ann's like, I don't talk to none of them because they've iced her out. And she's like confused on why they've iced her out. You've reached out to this girl. So Laura is in the group chat, I'm pretty sure. You have reached out to her fiance. I'm not going to say you stole him because you can't steal nobody, man. A man go where he want to go. But you have reached out to this girl's fiance. You've disrespected their relationship, right? And you think it's going to be all happy-go-lucky over here? And Jessica's like, no, like, I kicked you out of the group. And Chelsea was like, yeah, you unfollowed all of us, but you still follow our men. So Jess is saying, like, if anybody could relate to you, it would be me. And Sarah Ann's trying to overtalk her. She's like, girl, go ahead, have your minute, have your 5 minutes of fame. Go ahead, have them. I'll talk once you finish. And then once Sarah Ann finishes, Jess is like, I'm the person who probably could relate to you more than anyone because I was in a similar situation, right? She was like, but you just went about doing it the wrong way. Like, just have some type of respect. So they asked if any of the cast have seen Jeremy out. And Chelsea's like, yeah, I've seen him out a few times. And he was like, I saw you once. And she was like, I saw you twice. And she said, and both times I saw you, I asked you about Sarah Ann, and you said you weren't together. Y'all stay breaking up. And so now Jeremy is forced to tell the truth. He's like, well, just to be, frank, like, we have had some troubles. We've had, some ups and downs, but we have fought through them. I'm like, I bet this relationship don't last another 6 months. How long do y'all think this relationship is going to last? Please let me know down in the comments if y'all think this relationship is going to last between Jeremy and Sarah Ann. So now Nick asked Sarah Ann about the video that she put up of her at Jeremy's house. And he was like, a lot of the fans were upset because they felt like you were basically spoiling the show. And she's like, I didn't realize how, everyone was just like such FBI investigators. Girl, you know that the damn internet don't fail. Stop playing. Sarah Ann thinks that people are stupid. And so he asked her also about this other video that she put up about it being entertainment. So in a nutshell, she's saying, he's asking her, did you come here for entertainment purposes? And she was like, it was just taken out of context. Like, no, I put that video up for entertainment purposes, but no, I don't feel like this was entertainment. Like, she's like, I do trust that this process works, and I do believe in it because I found my knight in shining armor in front of me. Next. Vanessa asked Laura, is she dating anyone? Laura says yes, but Vanessa doesn't ask who. So I'm guessing it's nobody from the cast because she didn't ask her who it was. But my nose just wanted to know. So before Laura left, they were like, bye, Laura. And she's like, wait, we're not going to discuss Bean Dip. So they discussed Bean Dip. Laura says that it was a bad joke. It should have never been brought up. Should have never been done. She apologized. She's apologized to AD on camera, off camera. She apologized over and over again. It was just a huge mistake, and she's sorry for it. If Laura would have never brought that up, they was not gonna address Bean Dip. I feel like the Lachey's did really good with the Jeremy and Sarah Ann package, their section. Not so much for the rest, but they did get in that ass. So next it's time for Trevor to come out. Lord have mercy. And when I tell y'all, Trevor came out walking like this with them big shoulders and those big, like, wrinkly clothes and khaki pants. He looked like a used car salesman at a buy here, pay here car dealership. Big Goofy is what I'm going to call him. So Trevor sits down and, they say at the beginning of the show, it was protect Trevor at all costs. Trevor was the sweetest guy, and I must admit, I was one of those people. I thought Trevor was so nice, baby. Trevor fooled the hell out of me. And then they said all hell broke loose once your girlfriend decided to release the text messages. So Nick and Vanessa decide to read the text messages. They go back and forth reading them. And he's texting this girl as he's walking into Love is Blind. Then once he gets his phone back, he texts her again, tells her he loves her, tells her that he wants to marry her. Right? You don't say those things to just anybody. At least I don't. Do y'all? So they asked Trevor what he got to say about it. And when I tell y'all, this man, I said this in one of my other videos about Trevor being like a really good actor. He was like, oh, uh, I had a whole thing I planned to say. Well, spit it out and say it, Trevor. He was stumbling and mumbling over all of his freaking words. And I was like, oh my God. Just say, man, I messed up. That's all you had to say. I messed up. So basically, Trevor was saying that the girl was not his girlfriend. Like, you know, they were close. Nick said, you told this woman that you loved her and that you wanted to marry her. You say that to anybody and you don't mean it? He was like, well, I mean, I have. He was like, no, but like we were close. He was like, when I came here, I got into the experiment, but I did come in with bad intentions, basically. I had good and bad intentions. And they were like, well, what would have happened if Chelsea would have picked you first? Because Chelsea could have picked you first. He was like, oh, I would have went with her. Like, I told my girlfriend that, like, if I find someone that I was going to go with her because he said he wanted to meet someone different, someone that he's never dated before. And he felt like this would be an opportunity for him to, I guess, like, date outside the box. And so Chelsea was like, so what she was gonna be doing, like lingering in the background? Chelsea wasn't playing at this reunion. She had something to say about everything, and I loved it. Chelsea says, you know what? I knew that there was a reason why I didn't pick you. It was something in my gut that was telling me, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But now this makes sense, and now I know what it is. I'm like, no, baby, you still don't know. The reason why you didn't pick him is because Jimmy picked you first. That's what it is. You can't fool me otherwise. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, we're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. The camera pans over to AD and Clay, and they want to know what happened after the wedding. So AD says that, you know, it was tough watching that back and like reliving that again. And Clay says that he knew that, you know, it wasn't the right time to reach out. Like, as soon as the wedding was over, you know, he wanted to give AD some time to heal. And so they was like, well, who reached out first? And AD was like, who you think? Him? And I'm like, girl, he probably reached out like 2 or 3 times. Stop playing. Because Clay said that he reached out a couple of times and she didn't respond. And I'm like, what, 2 times? Because it is clear as day that AD has a real weakness for this man. So Clay says that he felt like a dick watching it back, seeing how excited AD was in the girls' pods, and then, you know, he felt like he disrespected her family, her mom, by, you know, having them come to the wedding and just like playing in her face, saying no, knowing he didn't say knowing he was gonna say no, because AD did call him out. She was like, you knew you was gonna say no. And he was like, no, I didn't. I really did not. I didn't know that. And I'm thinking that's a lie. So they asked him would he do it differently if he could. And, you know, Clay has to give you this long, drawn-out answer. You know, I struggle with being, you know, a good guy or a bad guy, and just trying to figure out if I deserve love. And I've gone to therapy. I've actually seen a couple of different therapists just to find the right one. And AD is the love of my life. And if I could do it over, I would do it differently this time. And I'm just like cue the violins. Clay, shut up. So they asked AD, well, how do you feel about it? So AD, you know, she's going through like an emotional roller coaster. Because of course this is what she wanted to hear. So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm saying, it's too late now. It's just a little too late, a little too long, and I can't wait. You know all the right things to say. You know it's just a little too late. It's a little too late. They asked AD would she date him again, and child, when I tell you AD was so smitten, she was like, next question. My face. Then they asked Clay the same question, and he says 100%. AD says that is the BS. And he was like, I've been in therapy. He's ready. She's like, you knew you weren't gonna get married. And he was like, that's not true. That's not. She's like, why we ain't married then? Why we ain't married? I'll wait. Tell me. So they asked AD, how did she feel about seeing his mother and father's conversation? And she said, like, it was like super powerful, but it definitely closed in some circles, some holes for her, that she just couldn't wrap her mind around with when it came to Clay. And with seeing what she saw, and she already knew that there were some struggles there, she knew that there was nothing that she could do for, him to be ready for her. I'm like, you shouldn't have to see that to know that. You can't make a man be ready to marry you. He has to be that on his own. Like you have to get out of this mentality of you think you can heal a man and build a man. Like you can't do that, sis. She said, respectfully, I did not want to be Clay's mother, like in the long run. And I'm like, agreed. So I really do hope that AD got that through her thick skull. So they asked Clay if him and his dad have like mended fences yet. And Clay is like, well, we have talked. He was like, our banter means a lot to me, but he hasn't really like actually apologized, like said the words, I apologize. And I don't think Clay understands how important that is. He says that he's in therapy. I don't know if his therapist is not telling him this, what therapies he's in, but to actually have somebody be accountable, hold themselves accountable for what they've done to you is very important. And by his dad not doing that and Clay saying that his dad hasn't done that, that's not good. And Clay obviously is not doing the work that he needs to do in therapy. I don't know about everything, but I know that he definitely needs to go back to therapy and stay in therapy a little bit longer because he said he was in therapy. He said he is in therapy. And so he said, his dad is a good dad and, he never his parents never did anything to, hurt them. And that's why he went to therapy and he can't walk around with that baggage, like AD's mother told him. He said, so that's why he went to therapy in the beginning. So I just hope that Clay continues to go to therapy. But I got one question for y'all. Why was Clay sitting on the couch like this? Why he was sitting back like this? I was like, sir, that looks so uncomfortable. So we find out that Johnny and Amy still haven't had their fight. She said that they don't fight, they just talk, which I think is great. That's something that I aspire to do because I don't have the control or the patience, but I'm working on it. And now we get into the questions from the audience, but some of the Love is Blind OGs are going to ask the questions. And we get Chelsea, Kwame's wife, asked the first question to Jessica. And they ask her, has Autumn watched the show? How does she feel about the show? And Jessica says, I let her see, some parts because some parts I feel like she doesn't need to see. Like, I guess the parts with Chelsea and Jimmy because Chelsea, Autumn calls Chelsea Auntie Chelsea because her and Chelsea are so close. And she said, and then, I didn't really realize that she's never like seen me cry before. So I felt like it was good for her to just see, that human side of me. And I feel like that's going to help her in the long run, let her know that it's okay to express your emotions. Like it doesn't make you a weak person to do that. So Alexa asked Johnny and Amy, was condoms never an option? And Johnny was like, yes. And they both laughed. They're like, yes, condoms was an option. He was like, the thing about it was, I just wasn't that educated on birth control. And, I had to do my research on it. And once I did my research, I realized that I didn't know a lot. And also, I'm a man and I get it. Like, men don't actually have to know much about the birth control like that. Like, mostly it's always put on the woman. Of course, a man should know. And you would think that just, sex education that's taught in schools, your parents, your friends, somebody would be talking about birth control. You'd have been with I don't know how many women. So you said that, you know, all of the women that you were with were on birth control. They were just on it. Y'all never discussed it. So I don't know. But they said that they have found something that works for them. But she did not get on birth control. And he did not get a vasectomy. So I'm happy to hear that. So actually that was Tiffany that asked about the birth control. Alexa asked, what is her name? Laura Megan Fox. What's Megan Fox's name? Not Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. Is it? Yeah, Chelsea. It's two Chelseas on the show right now. So Chelsea, how does she feel about that conversation with Laura and Jessica? And she says, like, you know, it hurt, like, seeing her have that conversation, because I did feel like it was a little bit disrespectful. I'm trying to figure out this relationship with my fiance. Are we going to be married? Are we not going to be married? And to see her, you know, have that conversation, it hurts. But, you know, we have gotten to a better place, and she's apologized, and we're super close, and I love her, and it's all good. And Jessica says, you know, looking back, I definitely felt like I could have handled that differently. It was not my best moment, and I was definitely in the wrong. Like, see, this is how you take accountability. You see that, Jeremy? This is how you take accountability. So Micah asks, how does Jimmy's friend feel about Chelsea spilling the tea about their sexual relationship? And Jimmy says one of his friends is pissed. I think that relationship is like over. And, you know, he was like, at that moment, like, he kind of realized like that was it for him. And he should have broken up with Chelsea that day. I think we all said that. Like, you were checked out that day when she came back and like convinced you to continue to be in a relationship with her. You should have said no. You should have stuck to your guns. You should have said, like, I'm done. I'm checked out. Like, you've broken the trust. It's just over between us. And so they asked the cast if they think that it was effed up for Chelsea to, you know, share the secret that Jimmy had shared with her in confidence. And me personally, I said this in my previous video, I do think that Chelsea was dead wrong. You do not share, you know, someone's secret on Mad Day. Like, you don't do that. Like, that's messed up. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. Micah was like, well, you know, you have to actually think about like the situation that she's in, and girl, hush. No, that's not cool. Like, you don't do that. It's messed up. So Nick asked the cast, what do they think about seeing Chelsea and Jimmy's relationship played back? AD says it was wild and hard to watch Chelsea deal with those insecurities, because we don't know that side of Chelsea. We know the strong, fun side of Chelsea. So to watch that back on TV was like, it was really tough to watch. So Vanessa brings up Jimmy and Jessica at the beach, and she's just talking about how, you know, they had chemistry and how that meeting went. And Jessica was like, I don't really think we had chemistry. It was just like I felt like he had a piece of me that I was never going to get back because we were so close. And seeing him for the first time, it was just weird. And Jimmy's like, yeah, you know, you got two women that are both saying that they love you or whatever, they want to be with you, and I'm just hoping that I'm never in that situation again. He said that he felt like him and Jessica had, you know, chemistry, but they weren't going to be together. Like, he was already with Chelsea. He was an engaged man, and that's just what it was. And it wasn't like Jessica was trying to be with him anyways, but, you know, it just, they knew they were going to be friends pretty much. And so they said, well, did you need your EpiPen when you saw her for the first time? We heard about you going on her page. And Jimmy's like, yeah, I went to her page. I sent her a friend request, as I did everybody else on the cast. And then, you know, I felt like I shouldn't have did it after I sent it, so I took it back. But Jessica had done already went on my page before I took it back and, you know, saw my page. And Jessica was like, well, when the friend request came through, I'm like, I know that ain't who I think it is. And she said that her page was already on private or whatever. And so she said she had already saw, you know, his page and what he looked like. So they asked Jimmy about the EpiPen thing, and he's like, I don't have to tell Jess. Like, she knows that she is gorgeous. Babe, when I tell you, Chelsea would roll her eyes slightly. She's trying to, like, not let the camera catch it. Chelsea was like, you didn't have to say gorgeous, sir. So Vanessa asked, are Jimmy and Jessica friends? And she was like, well, I thought we were friends until recently when I found out that you were going on, interviews, like talking mad shit about me. And he's like, well, what are you talking about? What did I say? And so basically, Jessica was like, anytime I went on an interview, I always talked good about you, about the relationship, about the experience, period. Like, I never said anything bad about you, but you go on an interview and you say that I got like a good edit. You're implying that like I was like a bad person, or, they're trying to paint me in this specific light. You said that I stormed out of our day in 10 minutes, and he was like, you did. So they are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Jess was like, no, it was like 2 hours. And he was like, no, it's like, well, I'll give you 45 minutes. She was like, but see, that's the thing. You felt like it was 45 minutes. You felt like it was 10 minutes, but you went on this interview and you said, this is what happened. So that's some bullshit. Tell the actual truth. If you felt one way, say I felt. He was like, it was like 10 minutes. She's like, baby, roll the tapes. Somebody get these tapes. Where's the receipts? Get the receipts for me right now. And they roll the receipts. They roll the tape. And it was 2 hours and 13 minutes. Jimmy, how the hell did you get 10 minutes from two? And the crazy thing about when they rolled the tapes, when they came back, they didn't say anything else about it. I was like, was that cut out? I wanted to hear Jimmy's explanation for his lie. So they said, well, speaking of social media, Chelsea, you decided to make a comment that you look like a certain person, and boy, oh boy, did social media go crazy. And Chelsea is like, yeah, I should have never said that, but I do feel like I have taken it with grace and handled it the best way that I can. I'm very proud of the way that I handled it. And that was it. We heard nothing else from Chelsea. And I'm thinking that's all we're going to get from Chelsea after all this crying, screaming, yelling, emotional abuse that she has caused this man. And this is all that we're going to get from Chelsea. This is wild. Like, I felt like they definitely could have asked Chelsea way more questions. Chelsea and Jimmy both together. Like, they didn't ask them if they're still together. Did y'all want more from the Chelsea Jimmy segment? Because they didn't ask them anything. I wanted to, and why didn't they bring up their social media tea? They didn't bring that up. They didn't bring up AD and Clay's on either, and I wanted them to bring that up. Did y'all want to hear about that? I felt like they, missed that too. I know they only have a certain amount of time. And I do enjoy seeing the old couples, you know what I mean? I feel like it could have been a part two. Like, give me Housewives Teas. Part one, part two. Y'all could have did 2 hours today, 2 hours tomorrow, or 2 hours, next Wednesday. I would have been here. I would have been mad I had to make another video, but I would have been here. That's what they should have done. But I guess we will see, what is it? After the pause? Out of the pause? After the pause. Whatever it's called. Like, when they show their update. So I guess maybe we'll get the update then. So we see Zach and Bliss, a little montage of their baby shower video. And all of their season is there. We see Marshall and Brett, Tiffany, Kwame, Chelsea. They're having a baby. I think it's a baby girl. Yeah, because I saw their video on YouTube. So they're having a baby girl. I love Zach and Bliss. They're one of my they're actually my second favorite couple. So yeah, Zach and Bliss got like a cute little montage. So they asked Kwame and Chelsea how they're doing, and they're like, they're doing great. They're expecting their baby. They're really good friends of ours. We talk to them like all the freaking time. And we just can't wait for them to bring their little bundle of joy into the world. So then they pan over to Alexa and Brennan, and they're talking about the fertility issues that they had because they're pregnant. Alexa's pregnant. She's having a baby. They don't want to tell what the gender is just yet. And she says that 2 months before she starts, she was preparing to start IVF. They got pregnant the natural way. So they're super happy. They can't wait to have their baby. And they're looking for somewhere to put the baby, as she says. She says, we're looking for a home so we have somewhere to put the baby. Like, the baby was like a bed or something. So now we see Alexa ask Brittany, did y'all ever just think about just like doing it and maybe then you'll have this chemistry that you were looking for? And Brittany was like, oh my God, finally it's our time to talk. It's our time to talk. Because the reunion has been on for like 4 hours now. And we're just now getting to Brittany and Kenneth. And so she was like, like before I came in here, I told myself, I'm not going to have sex in this experience, right? Because let's just say we don't work out. That's a body that I didn't even have to have sex with. And she also says, which I think is very important, she says, if I have to have sex to see if there is a chemistry or a yearn or a crave there, then I don't need that. Like, that's not how it works. It should naturally be there. And I agree with her 100%. Like, you should not have to have sex to make a crave. So I was with her 10 toes down on that one. So Nick tells Kenneth, we're watching the show, man, and everybody is screaming, put your phone down. Put that phone down. And he's like, man, really, I wasn't on my phone like that. Brittany was like, yeah, it wasn't really like he was on his phone like that. He said, when I came back from their honeymoon, he hadn't had his phone in a while, and he's a principal. I'm guessing he must have like a small school, because he said like he is like super involved in his schooling. Like he is in the rooms, in the classrooms, and in the hallways. So he's like really, really involved, and he talks to the parents, and he had a lot of catching up to do, I guess. So they asked, where are you guys at right now? And they say that they're really close friends. They talk like pretty much every single day. And that's just where they are. Like they're not even sad that it didn't work out, like it just wasn't meant to be, like Kenneth said in that scene. And then speaking of that scene, they asked him why he felt so cold. Now, if you all know, they say that Brittany had broke up with Kenneth prior to that scene, and that scene was a reenactment. So that's why it probably felt so cold. But he was like, no, I actually was like destroyed. Like I called Clay and I was like breaking down. And so I was really destroyed. It just, didn't come through on the screen because it was a reenactment. So they go back to the OGs and we see Colleen and Matt, and they are talking about how they have finally moved in. And what has it been? 3 years? 2 years or 3 years? Because they weren't on the season with Kwame and Chelsea. They were before them, right? So it's been 3 years. So we're gonna see how this marriage upholds actually residing under the same roof. Do y'all think that Colleen and Matt are gonna make it? Because y'all know Colleen and Matt, we were scared for her a while there. The way that Matt was flipping out during their season. So let me know down in the comments if y'all think that Matt and Colleen are gonna make it, because now that they are living together, they are really really married. So, and I think it's been either 2 or 3 years. I want to say it's been 3 years. Don't quote me on that. So they bring up Matthew, not Matt, but Matthew. And they show the clip of Matthew in the pods with the two Ambers, the white Amber and the black Amber AD. And basically he is saying like the same stuff to both of them. I think like the biggest like cringy part of it all, and AD speaks to this because they asked her how she feels about it. She was like, it's like more so of how I told him and I shared with him about my father passing away, because he wanted to ask my father's hand in marriage. And he wanted to ask my father if he could take my hand in marriage. I said that so wrong. And I told him my father passed, and by him like bringing it up to the other Amber, it was just like, that was just weird. But then they asked AD, has she seen this man since the pods, or since the experience has been over with? And she was like, yes, we went out on a couple of dates. I'm like, AD, what is wrong with you? Matthew is like so cringy to me. They went on a couple of dates. The first day he wanted to apologize. Then they went on another date. Then he cooked her dinner. They asked her, could he cook? Was the dinner good? And she was like, child, with some rice and chicken. And then they're looking at Clay, and they asked Clay if he knew about this or was this news to him. And he says, no, it wasn't news to him. Like AD told him he doesn't have anything bad to say about Matt. Matthew did things the way that he wanted to do them. Like, he's not here. Basically, like, I'm not going to be talking about this man behind his back. I don't really even got nothing to say about it. He was respectful. I have nothing to say about it. But 80 says that they are just different. Like, Matthew is like a very punctual type of person that like plans everything, and I'm the same way. And it just, they wanted different things. They're just different people. It just wasn't going to work. So that was it for that. So we get an update on Kwame and Chelsea. And we all know that Kwame, he wanted to travel a lot because that's what he did. He was a nomad before he came on Love is Blind. And so he traveled a lot, but Chelsea worked from home. So that was going to be a little bit challenging for her. Well, she was happy to share that she's now casting for Love is Blind. So she will be casting for, I think, season 8 because the next two seasons were already recorded, which is this one and the next one, so 6 and 7. So I think she did the casting for season 8. So we gonna be watching, girl. You better be on your job because these people who be casting, Chelsea, we counting on you. We are really counting on you. Come through for us, girl, please. So season 8, y'all remember that. But anyways, they're able to travel now, and they went to Italy and Turkey and Greece. But Kwame says the most the trips that are closest and nearest to their heart are the ones when they go back home on the East Coast to the DC area to visit his family. And Chelsea has gotten really close with his nieces and nephews, and they show a picture of them, and they're all dressed up in their Halloween costumes, and they're just enjoying their life. And I think that it's been 2 years. I think they're 2 years. Yeah. So they've been married for 2 years. They also decided, I forgot this part at the beginning of the episode, but they said that out of 11 couples that have gotten married on this show, 9 couples are still married. And I think that is really good. I know a lot of people give Love is Blind a lot of flack, but I feel like that's like a good rate. That's a good success rate for marriage, especially with Lauren and Cameron and Amber and Barnett. Like, they were season 1. That was what, 6 years ago. So way to go, Love is Blind. Y'all need to do a couple tweaks. And he went off on Sarah Ann. He's like, this show is not for celebrity. Like, don't come over here trying to get famous. That's not what this show is about. When he asked her earlier about her putting that video out, he was like, I don't want people to get that perception. Like, this is not what this show is about. We want people to come here because they want to find true love in the pods, sight unseen. So that was the episode, y'all. How did y'all like it? How did y'all enjoy the season? I just want to thank everyone who came on this journey with me. This was my first series that I recorded. And if you've come back time and time again to watch, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me get past 100 subscribers. I am currently trying to reach 200. So if you have made it to this part of the video, subscribe. Make sure you share the channel. Help me get to my goal, please. Like the video and comment below. And come back because I am also reviewing The Traitors. Totally different show, but it's just as good, if not better. But they're totally different. But this show is good too. Like, Traitors is really, really good. So if you're watching Traitors, and even if you're not watching Traitors, check out my review. You might fall in love with The Traitors. So that was it for tonight, and I will see y'all in the next review. Bye.